It has been a hot minute. I have watched from afar. I've heard the madness. It. I'm back. I'm back, baby. Let's talk. First and foremost, before I get into it, I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to every single person who reached out during my hiatus. I think I replied to most. I hope I did. If I missed anybody, apologies. But just in case I did miss anyone, it's been extremely humbling, man. A lot of people have reached out to me way more than I thought would have even noticed that I was missing, and showed me a lot of love, man, a lot of concern. So I appreciate that. I really do, man. I really appreciate it. Told me while I was away, the man them were going nuts. It's a crazy world when people think I might be the voice of reason, but hey, I'm trying to grow as a person. You know how we do. But all jokes aside, I appreciate you guys, man. Big up to everyone. While I was recovering from my surgery, and yeah, man, it was humbling. It was very humbling. A lot of genuine love. So big up to you lot, man. While I was out of action, I was still able to watch and listen. I might have been on bed rest, I might have been in recovery, but I could hear the crazy madness that was going on. And I think I'm going to upset a few people. I can't lie. I do. And we can have a conversation about it. Some of the people I'm going to upset are going to be my brothers. Some are just going to be people who watch from afar. It is what it is. But I do believe I'm probably going to upset some people with this one. Again, remember, this ain't nothing personal or whatever. This is all opinions. It's what we do in football, right? But I think some people are crazy. I think some people have shot their load too soon. There's a lot of things. There is a lot of things. First, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I know there might be a little confusion. I did want to, if you're watching this on KOP-ISH, I am putting this out 1 hour earlier on my channel. And then it's coming out on KOP-ISH an hour later. So if you're watching it on KOP-ISH, that's totally fine. If you're watching it on my channel, I appreciate that. This season I will be back, and I will be bringing content regularly. I'm going to do my best to get back up to track now that my health is slightly in better condition. And yeah, man, any suggestions or videos that you guys want me to do for DRIFTY TV as well, let me know, man. I've got some ideas for some great panel shows got coming up. The gaming is going to be coming back. I've got a new show that I'm going to be doing called Top 10, and that is going to be a non-football based show where we talk about everything. So I'm really looking forward to that, and the guests I'm going to have for that. And that'll be Top 10 everything, from baked goods to movies to everything, to games. Top 10, you know, and we'll go through and we'll list what we think our GOATs are in every category. So that's a new series I'll be bringing this season. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Rival Watch will be back every weekend, analyzing all the games and stuff. So if you're watching on DRIFTY TV right now, big up yourselves, man. Appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button as well. And if you're watching on KOP-ISH, as always, guys, this is the main baby. This is the reason why we do what we do. And appreciate you guys as well, man. We're almost at 40K. So big up your damn selves. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, so we can get there. And now I've got all of that out of the way. Let's get into the reason why you're here. As you can see in the title, not only am I back, but I am Arne Slot In. Now, I don't even like all of this slot in, out, shake it all about. You do the hooker cokey and you turn around and all this shit. But we have to talk about it in terms everybody understands, right? So, in this episode of Catch My Drift, I am Slot In. And I'm going to go through and list a number of reasons why I feel this way. Now, again, I don't actually want to make it seem like I'm not, like people who've got a difference of opinion are like super wrong or anything, so to speak. Like I don't want it to come across like I think every single person who slot out is wrong, but I do need just a little bit more of a, because all I've been hearing is about the people who were slot out. So I kind of just want to give a little perspective from the other angle. Shout out to Hassan and Tom Little and James Redmond, who, from what I can remember, are the only people at the moment that are no, and Matt as well. Can't forget my brother. He's not slot out. We've had conversations, me, Cal, and Matt. We've had one or two conversations while I've been away on the phone, so I kind of know. I know me and Cal greatly disagree on a lot of the slot stuff, so I'm sure we'll, me and Cal, we can get into it. And I'm sure we probably will over the time. And whoever's seen to be right is right. One thing I will give Cal credit for is Cal said, if I'm wrong, then I'll be glad because it will mean Liverpool are being successful. And I feel the same way. Whenever I have an opinion, if I'm wrong, then I love the fact that I'm wrong if it means Liverpool win. Do you know what I mean? So shout out to Cal. He wants to be wrong. That's where he stands. But most people I've seen, whether it be online, whether it be in the comments, whether it be fellow content creators, are slot out. And I'm just going to give a reason as to why I think a lot of them are being over the top, or they've gone too soon, or whatever it may be. And again, I'm not talking about any individuals. I'm just literally talking about, if you're slot out, these are the reasons why I think that it's wrong for you to be slot out, or whatever it may be. Or maybe, actually, I'm just going to come at this from an angle of, I'm going to give my opinion on why I'm slotting, and then whatever it will be, will be. Yeah. Because for real, I don't want it to come across like I'm going at the people who are slot out. Because again, like I said, if you've had enough, you've had enough. I can't tell you when your tolerance level is there, or however you want to put it. But I want to start off with a reminder. I think that would be the best way to start, and then we can go from there. And I just want you to watch this for a second. Shout out to Tom FIFA for this footage, by the way. Is this familiar? Is this familiar? This happened in 2025. 2025. This happened. Oh, what year is it now? Bloody hell. Still 2025. I was right there. I was right. I mean, literally, like this clip here, which is so ironic, is roundabout where we were standing when the coach went past. This is where I was. In our drove, we filled the streets of Liverpool. 1.5 million plus. 1.5 million plus of us Liverpool fans swarmed the city of Liverpool, dressed in red, because we just won 20, equaling Man United and being the most successful team in terms of league wins in English history. Cementing Liverpool as the biggest club in England, because now we're level on titles with Man U. They can't say anything because we've doubled their European trophies, if not tripled, because if you include the UEFA Cup, I think we have like 3 times as many European trophies as Man United. So we are, without a doubt, the biggest team in England. Yeah? That was only a few months ago. That was only a few months ago. Now, I'm hearing a lot of people, and this is where maybe I'll just make a few references to what I've heard people say. And again, not pointing fingers. These are just the things I've been hearing in the streets. I've been hearing, why should I care about last season? So because this season isn't going well, last season is irrelevant. Must I play the video again? So last season is irrelevant. Last season is irrelevant. Look at the boys. Last season is irrelevant because this season hasn't been going as well as we wanted it to. And look at the man right there, center. Liverpool shirt on, white shirt underneath. Look at the joy. Who's that man? That's the man that I'm hearing everybody say isn't good. Get rid of him. Sack him. Slot out. That man right there. Now, for me personally, like I said, I have my notes here, and I'm probably going to bounce around a little bit. For me, again, I think this comes from a level of entitlement when people start to act this way. Personally, they will say that they have standards and stuff like that. We all have standards, man. I don't think there's any Liverpool fan that doesn't want to win every single game, doesn't want to win every single trophy. We're raised to be winners per se. As Liverpool fans, right? We're a successful club. You get used to it. But I still believe it's an entitlement to actually dismiss winning last season, and anybody who's using last season as an allowance for some wiggle room when it comes to the mistakes that Slot is making this season. Last season is last season. Why should I give a fuck about last season? Why should I care about last season? Because the man won the league. And he won the league well. We knew we were going to win the league around February, March, right? And it just feels crazy to me to just dismiss an accomplishment that, with all due respect, 95% of Liverpool fans and 100% of rivals said we had no chance of even doing. I remember sitting there on streams and being questioned and asked why I believe Liverpool could win the league, and having to break down and actually give reasons as to why I believe Liverpool were good enough to win the league. And lo and behold, most of the things I said actually came true. And I'm not even saying that for the I told you so. I'm just saying it because I remember distinctly the summer when Slot came in and Klopp left. I remember everybody was just like, Liverpool are going to finish third, fourth. It's only a top four race. Rivals are saying we're not even going to finish in the Champions League spots. We're done. We finished all that. And this man came in and he handled all the pressure of all of that. Yeah. Which was extreme. Let's not do the hindsight thing because he did it well and act like it wasn't a big deal. At the time, most people were shitting bricks and not understanding how we were going to recover from losing Kaiser. How we were going to recover from losing the best Premier League manager Liverpool have ever had. Yeah. The Bill Shankly of the Premier League era. That's what he is. He is the godfather. Jurgen Klopp changed everything. Doubters to believers, fortunes, everything. And under Klopp, we won every trophy there was to win. Literally. And I'm not going to count the smaller European trophies because we're just going to put it, he won a European trophy. He won the biggest one. So I think, yeah, maybe, that one Europa League final, it was a shame. It was a shame we didn't win that one when Moreno did the inside job against Sevilla. But that's neither here nor there. We still won the big trophy, the big years. Yeah. So technically, Klopp won every single trophy there was available that all big clubs want to win. Some of them on more than one occasion. And Slot had to come in and take over from a squad that would have been somewhat in mourning after losing Klopp. You saw the way people like Mo, Virgil, Trent. I think Trent leaving might have something to do with Klopp leaving. Do you get what I'm saying? Like all of that. Slot came in and did it seamlessly. Few tweaks here and there. Apparently, he's got no tactical nous. Few tweaks here or there. changed the way we played around 15-20% in terms of like the intensity and the pressing and some of the things that were earmarked, kind of like trademark things that the way Klopp did things. Changed the way around a few bits of personnel. These are all tactical tweaks, by the way, because apparently he doesn't know what he's doing tactically. And won the fucking league in his first season in England. Yeah? That's just forgotten about because we're not playing well right now. Because what he's trying to implement right now isn't working as as we would want it to, so to speak. And again, this is not me saying he is not at fault. This is not me saying that Slot isn't to be blamed. I do think that there is 50% blame on the manager right now. 100%. There is 50% blame on the manager. And then the other 50% is everybody else, just playing staff in general. And then that I'm including Richard Hughes, I'm including Michael Edwards, all the players, the coaching staff, maybe Van Bronckhorst, Stephen, like people like everybody else. 50% on Slot, 50% on everybody else, because everybody's played a part in why and how things may have gone wrong. But everybody just wants to throw Slot under the bus, and that's the part that I find crazy. All of last season, and I've been thinking about this because people are like, what is Slot's way of playing? What is Slot ball like? And that's what people want to say. So I started to really think about it. And you want to know what it mainly was? And this is how I know that he is a good tactician. For the most part, we didn't really have a way of playing. He would set up game plans for each individual team, pretty much, even though obviously there's certain ways you want to play, setting traps with press and high lines, low line, whatever. There are general ways to play the game. But for the most part, I really deeped it. And I was like, you know what? There were so many games where it wasn't even like there was an identity to what he was doing. He was just such a good tactician, whether it be at kickoff or whether it be at halftime. And it happened a lot at halftime, where he would analyze the opposition, see what they were doing, figure them out, and then find a way to either A, just win from the beginning, like we did at Old Trafford, for example, third game of the season, or change things and switch things up. And that's why we were very much a second half team, because he's new to the league, hasn't played against some of these managers before. So when he's getting to half time, he's like, right, okay, this is this, that's that. I can see this. I've been analyzing that. Boom, boom, boom. Change this, change that. Maybe change of personnel, tactical switch, whatever. Bang, we got up for the second half. We win the game. Does that seem like a man who doesn't know what he's doing tactically? Does that seem like a man who's shit at his job, who's not a good manager? How can you forget and act like that didn't happen? I'm bemused. I'm so confused as to how anybody can believe that man is not a good tactical manager, just because it's not going well right now. And do you want to know what's happening right now? Right now, instead of thinking about the opposition, he's trying to implement a way of playing that he wants to play. He wants to be more possession-based. He wants to be more attacking. And you know what? Good or bad, I think he earned the right to be allowed to do that. I think he did. I think he earned the right to be able to do that. Now, that's going to take time. Seems like nobody wants to give him time, or not many people want to give him time. I'm one of the people who's willing to give him time. I am angry and annoyed and vexed overall at the fact that Liverpool probably won't win the league this season and possibly won't win any trophy this season, because I believed this squad was good enough to win a trophy, at least one. Yeah, especially the league, right? So I'm very disappointed, of course. Don't get it twisted. I'm not sitting here okay with Liverpool not winning anything, if that ends up being what happens. But what he did for us last year means I'm not crashing on him, because he won the league. How many times have we won the league in the Premier League era? Twice. How many times have we won the league in a lot of our communities' lifetimes? Probably 3 or 4. I know obviously we do have some older heads, and shout out to the older heads, because I'm from that generation as well. But especially the under 30s, you've only seen 2 titles, depending, given or taken. If you want to, no, actually, yeah, if you're under 30, you've only seen 2 titles, because you wouldn't have seen the title before, in the 90 title. So yeah, if you're under 30, you've only seen 2 titles, and 30 is a grown ass man, yeah, or woman. You're a fully fledged adult, yeah? If you're 30 or in your early 30s, and you've only seen 2 titles, and one of those was delivered by Slot. But now we want to get this entitlement about that, but because he's not going to win the league this year, get rid of him. How about some loyalty? What we ask for. We ask for loyalty, right? That's why we crashed on Trent. That's why we crashed on Torres. That's why we crashed on all the other players who've left in the wrong way over time, right? Because we ask for loyalty. So why don't we give some loyalty? That losing streak that happened to Slot happened within a short space of time, you know. Yes, obviously it can seem like it's bad because losses aren't good, right? But those 4 or 5 losses that happened, they happened in like a 2-week span. Let's forget about the international break being in the middle of it, because obviously that's neither here nor there, right? If you're just talking about game weeks, happened in like a 2 or 3 week period. It hasn't been dragging out for months, and he's just been dreadful for months. It was a cluster of defeats in a small period of time. Yeah, the shit happens. Man City lost 11 games in the league last season, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it can happen to the best. Guardiola is the best manager on the planet, and his team went through a crazy, I'm sure it was 11 games without winning, or on 11, it was nuts. It was crazy. It was unprecedented, unheard of. And that is Guardiola, the greatest manager on the planet. Shit happens, man. It can go this way. Do you enjoy it? Do you like it? Hell no. But you stick through it, man. If you have proven. And I don't like this other misconception that we've been crap for the whole of 2025. Again, to everybody who's been saying that, I think that is so disingenuous. I just do. Were we sensational? No, but there are circumstances. There's context to be added. People don't want to add context. Everybody goes out the cup unless you win it. So the defeat in the Champions League, the defeat in the FA Cup, the defeat in the League Cup, if you don't win it, that's always a defeat. So there's 3 or 4 defeats straight off the bat out of the defeats. That just, if you don't win a trophy, it happens. So everybody gets those defeats, right? The PSV defeat. Are you telling me everybody wasn't happy we put a crap team out? We topped the group in the Champions League. Why would we have risked? So there's a loss, that PSV loss. And it was a narrow loss anyway. But there's another loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, we'd only lost 2 games in the league until we wrapped the title up against Tottenham. 2 games in the entire league before we wrapped up the title. And then, yes, after we wrapped up the title, I think we lost 2 or 3 games after we won the title. But again, we'd won the league. So those defeats are like, you know what I mean? When you're adding the context, they're not to be looked at in this scathing way that people are, we got all these defeats. It's natural. We won the league. No one wants to spend the whole summer getting over a torn grade 3 hamstring because you were running your ass off in a game that meant fuck all. Like, what are we doing? And yes, of course, you want them to be professional and stuff. Like, I get that. But I think it's unrealistic and a bit stupid to expect everybody to still be running when there's nothing to play for. Like, if we were going for a centurion, or we were undefeated and we could win the league invincible, or there was something like that, then I would be like, yo, the last 4 or 5 games, you still got to go ham for those games. But there was nothing. We couldn't achieve any of those things. There's nothing to achieve. There's no record that we could break. There was nothing. Why would the players be going ham when the job is done? Huh? Why? I just think that's just unrealistic, and that's just poking for no reason. Do you know what I'm saying? So a lot of those defeats, again, like I said, a lot of those defeats for me, that people are like looking at and stuff, like, the context has to be added. And like, I don't, and again, I'm not saying the performances are amazing. There were some performances. I remember the Brentford one was a struggle. Nunes comes off the bench with the winner. I remember the terrible performance against Man United when we got that draw. But obviously Trent was diabolical in that game, and there was some circumstances under. I remember there were some poor games. Don't get me wrong. Of course, there were some poor games, but don't gaslight me into believing that we were crap for the whole of 2025. Don't do that. I was there. I was there. I remember some joyous performances, and I remember being happy for the majority of the time. You know what I mean? I truly feel like I'm being gaslit by the people. Like, we've been rubbish for the whole of 2025. You're not adding context, and you're taking away an experience I went through. I'm not just looking this on paper. I'm not just remembering things randomly. I was there. You see, it's all on, you know what I mean? So yeah, there were some bad performances, but there were some amazing performances. And we weren't just crap for the most part. We weren't. And a lot of the time, it's because we didn't need to go ham. Again, we had a feeling we were going to win the league from so early. Maybe the players as well, you know, was there a need to just be ham all the time and going in all the time like they're humans? Again, I know I want them to be professional, but I'm just trying to add some context and some, like, you know, levity light here. Oh, apologies, people. I'm getting a call from Amazon. Hold on. Apologies there, guys. I'm waiting on a delivery. I've never had Amazon ring me before though. But so it's just one of those things where, like, I just think people aren't adding enough context. Yeah, respect. I just don't think people are adding enough context to some of the stuff that's being said. So that stuff made me lose my train of thought. Let me try and get back into this. Another thing I'll say as well that I've been seeing, and this is the reason why I do put a lot of this on the players. I think some of them have lost the hunger. I do. I'm watching games like that Man City game, for example. What's Slot supposed to do when people aren't showing desire, when people aren't running, when people aren't winning their individual battles, when people aren't winning their duels? They had the ball in their corner flag with O'Reilly 30 seconds before they scored the opening goal of that game. How the fuck did they get out and get all the way up the pitch? Go and watch that clip and watch how easy they ran past our players. The fuck has that got to do with Slot? What has that got to do with the manager? That is players not playing with the level of desire, passion, effort that is needed. They are grown men. Yes, the manager is obviously, like, in control and motivating the team. I get that. But they're grown men. A lot of these people are veterans in the game. You know what I mean? Even some of our younger players, you know, McAllister, who's like, what, 25, 26, Soboslai, obviously 23. Like, these guys are younger, but they're veterans in terms of, like, their experience. McAllister's a World Cup winner. Soboslai's played in 3 different countries. He captains his country. We've got Virgil, we got Robbo, we got Salah. These men are veterans. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they shouldn't need to be motivated by the manager, as in, like, if the manager doesn't motivate them, they're not motivated. So yes, the manager is part of the motivation, but these men should be motivated themselves. We're not playing with a bunch of Rios who you can totally understand that there are a lot of players playing in these games who, even if they're younger, have still got a wealth of experience, and shouldn't need to be pushed to play well. And that's why there's a part of me that does feel like a lot of them have lost motivation, especially some of the guys who've been around for years. You look at Kanate, you look at Robbo, you look at Virgil, you look at Allison, less Allison, but obviously he's still there. You look at Salah, some of these players who have been in our squad, God rest his soul, Jota, who've been in this squad while we had to watch Man City do 4 in a row. Now, other than one season, that terrible season when our midfield absolutely capitulated and we finished 5th, that shocking season, and the only joy from that season was a 7-0 against Man United. Other than that season, for the most part, we were title contenders. That was the only year we sat back and we watched Arsenal be the title contenders. Other than that, Liverpool were contending. We nearly won the quadruple. We clocked, you know, I believe Klopp leaving was why we didn't win the league that year, because I think emotionally and physically we just got tired and we ran out of steam. Like, We were always there or thereabouts, but we were always pipped by Man City. We had to watch Man City win the league. A decimated defense. We still came third that season, by the way. The Virgil situation with the ACL, decimated with injuries. All of these are mitigating circumstances as to why we watched, and again, a superb City team win 4 in a row. And it was normally us that they were beating to those titles. And we had to watch, and the frustration of the players like the Salahs and the Virgils, the true winners, watching that happen, and the desperation to want to get back to the top. And last season, we finally did it. We climbed the mountain and we got back to the top. I can't lie. It is human nature. And again, I don't like this, and I'm not saying it's okay, but I am trying to give some understanding that maybe there's a little less desire because we've reached the mountaintop again after so long. It's natural. You spend 4 years watching a rival win. When you finally get there, the relief, the sense of relief, it's huge. That could be playing a part in why I feel like there is a little lack of desire and whatnot. We put a lot into last season, and we put a lot into the last 4 years. It's not okay, but it's a reason why it could be happening. They are people, they are humans. I'm just trying to put some things out there that maybe people haven't thought about. That definitely, for me, feels like there's too much emphasis on worrying about banter from other fans and being clipped and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the clip stuff is only for us influencers, but rivals in general, it's a social media world now where even if you're not a public figure, so to speak, in this football space, you still have to go to school, to college, to work, go online. Some people have created, like, you know, good communities online, on X, on Insta, whatever it may be, and the banter, people going at you, whatever it may be. I feel like a lot of people are just worried and concentrated and care about that a lot. You know what I mean? And then they get angry because they're getting laughed at and whatever. So it's making them even more angry. Like, take a step back. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, in the moment, it's not nice, but look at the bigger picture and don't worry about that shit. Because at the end of the day, most people are jealous of us. Most people are jealous of us because we are Liverpool. We're the biggest club in England and we're about this fucking life. Most people are jealous of us. That's why they're going so ham, because they've been waiting to go ham because the jealousy, the hatred. Fuck them. Let them talk. We'll be back. Let them talk. We'll be back. We're going for a down patch. It happens. We'll be back. I want to waste the season, so I hope we can still get it together. I still ain't even fully given up hope we can win the league. It's looking very dire. Oh, it's looking very dire. You know what I mean? Might need a Houdini trick. But you never know. You never know. Some difficult fixtures coming up for Arsenal. City, I know they battered us, but a lot of that was down to the lack of fight and desire from us. I still didn't look at that City team and think, they're going to smoke everyone. Great team. Don't get me wrong, they're a great team. But you never know. We've got some favourable fixtures coming up. We can just put a little run together. And there's a lot of ifs. It might not happen. And I'll be angry at the end of the run because I'll be like, it was an opportunity, of course. But Arsenal have got to go away to Villa. They've got the North London derby. I think they're going to smack Tottenham, but it's still, you never know. They've got Chelsea away. They normally win that game, but it could be a different year. Pressure. If Man City win the game against Newcastle before they play the North London derby, we've seen in the past, Arsenal can feel the pressure. They may drop some points. If City can be the ones putting on the pressure, we can maybe just chug along slowly, and get back in. Who knows? And this may not happen. We're 8 points behind. It's looking unlikely at the moment. But football's a funny old game because if I'm not mistaken, we were 5 points ahead of them before our losing run, and everybody thought the title was over then. And look, was it something like a 9-point swing or whatever it was? So at the end of the day, don't worry about the rivals. Don't. You just don't know. I'm not going to go into the whole who's out there to replace Klopp because, again, we didn't think anybody was going to be able to replace Klopp. So I don't really like going down that road because there was always some kind of manager to some degree, right? But I will say this, even though I do respect and think some of the managers that have been spoken about are very good. I think Areola is a very good manager. I think Glasner is a very good manager, as an example. For me, the man ain't good enough to be Liverpool manager, though. Like, I can respect you from afar. Don't mean I think you're good enough for my team. I remember when I was growing up, I always used to think that when people would say, "Oh, she's not my type. Oh, he's not my type," I used to think, come on, man. That's just a nice way of saying you don't find them attractive. I always used to. And then, you know what? I matured and I grew up. And I started to realize, no, do you know what? You can actually appreciate the beauty in someone, but not be attracted to them. You actually can. And then you think, oh, yeah, okay. These things can happen. So, you know, I can appreciate Areola and them man there from afar. Be like, brilliant. Oh my God, did you see how well he did today? It was unbelievable tactics today. How did Areola pull off a win against Guardiola? Amazing. Glasner, shit. Man's just about to win the conference with Crystal Palace, you know. Great manager. You know? But not for me. Not for me. They're not good enough to be Liverpool manager. So they're proving he's good enough to be Liverpool manager. I'd rather the devil I know and give him a chance. He's earned that chance. You want a merry-go-round? We're bringing Areola and he can't handle the pressure? And then what? And we're in some. How many years did we waste? Now, a lot of people say, oh, we're wasting his keeping slot. How do you know that? How do you know that? Arsenal should have got rid of Arteta at least 4 times. At least 4 times. Probably way more than that. They should have got rid of Arteta at least 4 times. Look how many Arsenal fans think he's the Messiah now. Time. And he didn't even really earn that time. He won an FA Cup in lockdown when everything was weird. And it was pretty much just the Aubameyang show. So, you know, Slot won the league. For me, that means he's earned more time. I just want to show something quickly, and I'm not even trying to be provocative here. But this man right here, on the right, RIP to the legend that is Diogo Jota. So many times we've had conversations and people have been very, very dismissive. For the most part, I guess it's just people having an opinion. On some occasions, I found it very distasteful or disrespectful. In the name of Jota. You're just making excuses. No, we're having a conversation, so we're looking at all the variables. And I'm so glad, not that he's going through it, but that he spoke up about it when Robbo had that interview after the game with Scotland when they qualified, and he said he was in bits because he was thinking about his best friend. There are a lot of players in our squad that were super close to Jota. Coincidentally or not, most of our underperformers this season, McAllister, Salah, Ibu, Robbo. I mean, I didn't think Robbo's been one of our underperformers, and Virgil not even really either. But Ibu and Salah definitely, they've been underperforming this season. A lot of these guys were super close with Jota, super close. They're humans, guys. Every game, we know at the 20th minute we're going to be singing for our boy. That might be creating an anxiety in the team. We're not starting games well. Could it be part of it? Possibly. They're humans. For anyone who's ever lost anybody, you think about it constantly. You can't help it. Some people are better at pushing it down than others. Do you know what I mean? They have, if I'm not mistaken, his number is still in the changing room. That's a daily reminder. There's a part of me that's kind of thinking that that's not a good idea. The respect part and everything, like, I love it. Even the singing at the 20th minute, like, it's beautiful. We never want to forget him. But it might not actually be good for the players because it's just a constant reminder. Constant reminder. Do you know what I mean? Every single day. I've lost loved ones. I'll give you an example, a really simple example. My dog was on my screensaver on my phone and he passed away. To this day, I miss him to death. I took him off my screensaver. Do you know why? Because every time I went in my phone, I didn't want to be reminded of the hurt. Because you have to forget to get by. Not forget forever, but forget on a daily basis to get by. Every time they come into work, If the Jota shirt is there, every game we've been played, we're singing his name. It's a constant reminder. It messes with your psyche. These are reasons. They're not excuses. They're reasons. We're humans. I can't believe people are dismissing that this could be a part of why some of our players aren't playing well this season, or why they're not fully dedicated or fully switched on. I don't get it. Another myth I wanna get over. Grav said he has more license to go forward this season. So I'm seeing a lot of people that are like, this is part of the poor tactics from Slot. Rah, rah, rah. He said he's just been given a bit more license to go forward. The ninja didn't say, the man told me don't defend. He didn't sit there and go, boy, nah, we have no defensive responsibility, nah. None whatsoever. We just attack and I run forward. And if I see a man run, we not track back. Did he say that? No. He was just talking and answering a question after a beautiful goal against Everton with a bit of forward running. Yeah, I have the ability to go forward a little bit now more from the manager. So things like that might happen. If I see a chance, I go for it. And again, this is Slot hoping that these players use their intelligence, because I don't know about you lot, but I remember a simpler time when it wasn't so much about systems, which is another thing that I do hate about modern football, but just in general, you know what it was about? Tactics and systems obviously play a part in football, they always have, but a lot of the time it was about the individuals that were there, which is the reason you buy the best players or you want the best players, or you bring the best players through from your academy, because you rely on their skill, their flair, their know-how, their football brain, their instinct, their intuition, because football is a lot about that. Sometimes you can set up as much as you want with systems or whatever. It's about this. It's about using your fucking noggins. Yeah? It's about understanding when to do things. Do you really think that Slot is telling Gravenberch, if they're counter-attacking us, run forward? Don't think about defending. No, we just said if you see an opportunity, I give you a little bit more license to go for it because I trust your judgment. People are just running with this narrative that all of a sudden it means Slaughter said, fuck defending. So during the game, if there's a big hole in the middle of the park, maybe it's down to the individuals making wrong decisions and not Slot's tactics. Because I'm very sure Slot isn't saying, don't fucking defend. He's hoping that the players, for the most part, are intelligent enough, and we have super intelligent midfielders, by the way. Soberslai's got a good football brain. McAllister is as intelligent as it gets as a midfielder. Gravenberch has got a very good brain. Do you know what I mean? These are footballers they've got very good football intelligence. And he's just trusting them to use that football intelligence so everything isn't just so robotic. And that's refreshing. Everybody's just taking it. But Slot's telling man them don't defend no more. Come on, man. That's not what he said. Put some accountability on the players. The players are making mistakes on poor decisions. Like I said, Man City got out of their corner and scored 30 seconds later. What the fuck has that got to do with tactics? That is a lack of desire, intelligence, movement, effort, everything. We weren't winning duels in that game. Slot ain't the one on the pitch getting pushed off the ball and barked off the pool and pussying out of 50-50s. Come on. What are we doing? Like, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just gonna make one or two more points before I leave, because I didn't even think I would talk for this long, but it's been a minute. So I have had a lot. I'm probably gonna even forget some stuff. And again, I just want to reiterate, I am not happy with losing. I am not okay with losing. Slot can't just keep losing forever. Yeah. But give the man grace and just try and look at things from the other point of view, instead of just being so like, I thought we're gonna win everything, and because we're not, fuck the manager. Like, come on. And there's a possibility we might still win something this season. For people who obviously doubt his credibility as well, right? A lot of people told me it was really refreshing how honest he was last season. Like, a lot of people, because I remember saying like I didn't really like how candid he was in interviews, and everyone's like, nah, man, I'm loving it. He's telling the truth. But you know, it's because we were winning. So everybody loved it while we were winning. Now we're not winning. All of a sudden, everyone's got a problem with him being truthful or being honest. And I've seen a lot of the interviews, and the quotes are very easy to like misunderstand during the moment, right? So like, say we're doing a watch along and then we do a post game and then someone tells us something that he said and we've just lost, so we're angry and we're like, oh my God, did he really say? You got to be shitting me. When you watch it though, which obviously gives you context because you see body language, tone of voice and all of that, but a lot of the time it's not coming across the way people are twisting it to be. Again, even though he's got brilliant English, it's not obviously his mother tongue as well. So there are going to be some times when the translation might not come across exactly how he means it to. And he's just being honest sometimes. I'm not saying everything he said has been like understandable. There have been odd things. I'm like, oh, Slot, man, why'd you say that? But at the same time, he's just being honest. And people said they love honesty. They don't like robotics. And then he's honest. Now everybody's grilling him for it or taking it out of context so they can attack him for it. Do you know what I mean? And again, that's not me saying he hasn't ever said anything silly or whatever. But I mean, enough managers waffle. Fergie, Guardiola, Klopp, Mourinho. How many of the GOATs have we heard waffle in after defeats or say dumb shit? Conte, legends of the game, say dumb shit after defeats because they're angry and they're in their feelings or whatever. Like, this football, man. This ain't unique to Slot. And he's a relative amateur in the game. Which brings me on to my next point, which is why it's even more crazy that people are crashing out on him. This is the first time he's gone through something like this in his young managerial career. If I'm not mistaken, he's mid to late 40s. He's a very young manager. Him and Arteta have been manager for the same amount of time. Or if I'm not mistaken, Arteta might have been a senior manager for 1 year longer than him, I think, or somewhere around the same amount of time. And in that time, this man has collected a cup and a league title in Holland, nearly won another league title in Holland with AZ Alkmaar. Only COVID stopped him from winning. And, you know, okay, he was level on points with Ajax at the time going in, but AZ Alkmaar were playing brilliantly and had every chance of winning the league. And I think it was a travesty, even from Ajax's point of view, that Holland didn't let the league come back and they just cancelled it. He could have won the league with AZ Alkmaar. Yeah. And he didn't win the title with PSV or Ajax. He won the title with Feyenoord. If I'm not mistaken, they'd only won the title 3 times in the last 30 years. Sounds quite familiar to Liverpool. So even though they are quite a big club, only won the league title 3 times in the last 20 or 30 years. He was one of them. So he nearly won 2 titles in Holland. They definitely won 1, nearly won 2. Only COVID stopped it happening. And he won a cup, a domestic cup. Then he comes to England and he wins the Premier League. He's been a manager for 5/6 seasons professionally at the top level. And he's already won 3 major trophies, 2 of them being league titles. And people are going to turn around and act like this guy's not good enough. How can you achieve that and not be good enough? But he's going for a bad patch. And it's unfamiliar to him because he's used to success, because he's a brilliant coach. So he's not used to success. I mean, to bad times. So it's the first time he's going through a bad patch. Anyone ever felt like their relationship was great, beautiful, wonderful, love each other, can't get enough of each other, can't wait to see each other, everything's amazing? Then like a year in, you have a really major big argument about something, and for the first time you've really like gone at it with each other and had like a big argument. It was a little hard to cope with, right? You're like, I've been here before. How do we recover from this? And you get over it. Of course you do. Because it's life and shit happens. But in that moment, it feels weird, right? You're like, oh shit, how do I cope with this? We've never argued. But I've never said that. She's never said that. Or he's never said that. You know what I mean? But you get over it. And then you get that experience. And then the next time you're like, all right, we're about to crash out on each other. Let's not do that again. Unless you're toxic. You correct. You learn from your mistakes. You move on. Most of learning is mistakes. Slot is making mistakes while learning. He's never had to go through like a bad patch like this, and especially at a high pressure club. Let the man get through it. He wants to play his way. And I admire that. Like I said earlier on in the video, like I kind of admire it because he wants to play his way. He doesn't want to just play anyway. And yes, it's about winning. I get that. But he wants to stamp his authority. He wants to have a way of playing. He wants to have an identity. I can't blame him for that. Most managers do want to have that. What, does everyone just want him to play the way that they think? Or then he's just being a yes man or a follower, right? Like, give the man some time. We did change a lot. And I don't think that's all down to him, which is where the recruitment has to come into it. Nobody gaslight me and tell me Slot asked for Kirkes. Just as an example. Don't tell me he asked for Kirkes. He didn't ask for Kirkes. Everybody sat there last summer and told me I was crazy when I backed FSG, yeah, while everybody was crashing it on them, yeah, and said, you want to know what, guys? I actually think Slot asked the board to just let him assess the team for a season because he thinks these players are good enough and doesn't just want to buy for the sake of it. And he's probably asked these guys, don't just get me anyone. I'll roll with this and I'll figure it out as I go along. My first season, let's not make any rash decisions. Nah, Drift, you're talking shit. It's because the recruitment is crap. Remember, I was part of the crashing it on Hughes and Edwards because of the contract stuff mainly. But we're like, what are they doing? They've been here for 6 months, a year now. What are they doing? What's happening? Nobody was blaming Slot in any way, shape, or form for recruitment or lack thereof. Now you want to change the narrative and it's all on Slot because now you want to go at him and you want to say Slot out and you want to do all this stuff. Come on, man. What are we doing? Again, let's not, man. That's toxic. Don't gaslight me. Don't be disingenuous. He may be asked, are you cool with this? And he'll be like, you know what? If you guys believe as a coach, I'll do my best. I'll see what I can do. They might ask his opinion, of course. He earned that right as well. But I still believe the whole reason why we have such powerful, influential, strong-minded director of footballs and CEOs and all that stuff like Hughes and Edwards are is because they are the ones who really, truly push the boat when it comes to the transfers and the signings and who we're going after and whatever. Kirkes came out. Kirkes' dad even publicly made a statement about how close he is with Richards. With Hughes, sorry. We're just going to dismiss that, yeah? Why do you think there's a possibility that we might be able to get Semenyo? Who signed these players and who built a relationship to bring them to Bournemouth? And now what you want me to believe? It was all Slot's plan. Get the fuck out of here with that, man. Come on, man. Come on. Just because you want to run a narrative. Kirkes was the best left back in the league last year, was in the team of the year. He proved he was good. That, on top of the fact that there's already a brilliant relationship, it was a good price. Hughes would have brought it, and then Slot would have been like, yeah, do you know what? I'll work with it then. If that's who you believe, I'll work. Obviously, he's a good player. He proved. So I'll try and work with it. So far, it's not working out. And once you get a player in training, maybe you think, oh, shit, nah. You know what I mean? It's different to see a player in the flesh than just watching them on TV every week or whatever. But don't sit him and tell me that wasn't a Hughes signing. Don't gaslight me. With all due respect, you're chatting shit. Kirkes is a Hughes signing. So, yes, Slot could probably use him better, but don't fucking blame Slot for why he's here. Frimpong. Nobody told me that wasn't market opportunity. And Frimpong's a good player. But that's 100% market opportunity. Slot did not go, I want Frimpong. I refuse to believe that. He was 20 million. He's an established international footballer. And we've just lost the right back, the best right back in the world. Even though he's a rat, he's still the best right back in the world. We had to make it an executive decision. And who knows? Plus, the fact that he's multifaceted, he can play right wing. You know what I mean? He can play different roles in the team. Why not? He's a good player. Frimpong is a good player. But don't tell me that's who Slot wanted, because the way Slot has been using him, clearly that is not how Slot wanted to play. So that profile doesn't make sense. Do you know what that was? That was market opportunity. And here's another thing I'll tell you. Absolute 4D chess. Absolute 4D chess. And it goes down to the same thing why a lot of people are worried now about Semenyo, because he's an Arsenal fan. So they think if Arsenal get involved, shit, we might lose him because he want to go to Arsenal. Because these things do count, because these people are humans. Why did Tottenham lose out on Eze? They offered him more money. They spoke to him for longer. They lost him because he's an Arsenal fan. Otherwise, if Eze supported Chelsea or Man United or one of those teams, he'd be a Tottenham player. But he went to Arsenal because he picked Arsenal over Tottenham, even though they did all that work, because he's an Arsenal fan. These things matter. Who the fuck is Frimpong's best friend? All right. And for anyone in the back who doesn't know, and I know you all know, so I shouldn't even need to say his name. But for anyone in the back who doesn't know, Frimpong's best friend, in football at least, is Florian Wirtz. Oh, who's Florian Wirtz? Is he not Liverpool's record midfielder, #1 target this summer? 4D fucking chess, people. It was all part of the plan. And don't gaslight me into believing anything else. Frimpong was brought to Liverpool for his versatility, for market opportunity, and more importantly, because it would have helped to persuade Wirtz to leave Germany to come to England and sign for Liverpool. You're not going to convince me any other way. I know how fucking life works. So there's already 2 players for my recruitment that would not have been because Slot wanted the player. It would have been other circumstances and recruitment. Hughes and Edwards. I mean, come on. Everything just can't be Slot's fault. And that is misprofiling from recruitment. I think it's one of the biggest issues we have this season. Misprofiling our fullbacks. We plan to play a certain way. The Premier League's gone another way as well. You know what I mean? These bullshit set pieces and throw-ins. What is this fucking Sunday league? I don't think this can last forever because surely everybody's going to realize that the way football's been played right now is bullshit. It's so boring to watch. The overall quality is fucking terrible. Liverpool have built this team now to be technical and good with the ball. And now everybody just wants to fucking do 40-yard throw-ins and lump it up the pitch and try and win corners and free kicks and all this. It's Sunday league. The Premier League is fucking turned into Sunday league amateur football. And we're trying to adjust to that as well because we bought all these fucking ballers to play real football. It might be one of the reasons why City are struggling as well because they want to play real football. We don't want to do this fucking set-piece Sunday league bullshit. All right? If somebody wins the league playing that way or somebody achieves something this way, they'll say, who cares? We won. Fair play. But I think the most of us want to be entertained and we don't want to watch this crock of shit. Yeah? Liverpool are trying to adapt. There's so many things that are at play here. Do you know what I mean? And the one last thing I want to end on as well, because I want to try and keep this video to an hour at least. I've seen a lot of people say, if Liverpool win the Champions League this year, but we don't win the league, it's a failure. I'll say that one more time. I've heard a lot of people say, if Liverpool win the Champions League this year, but we don't win the league, the season is a failure.
How dare you?
Exactly.
You're lying. You're either lying to me, you're either lying to yourself, you're either lying to the public, you're either lying to your friends. You're lying. If we win the Champions League, the season is a failure. So the season can only be considered a success if you win the Premier League. That is the only barometer for success for Liverpool. Let's even just for Liverpool. The only barometer for success is winning the league. So that means for 30 years, give or take 2 years, Liverpool were unsuccessful then. For the most part, that means in Klopp's reign as Liverpool manager, Liverpool were unsuccessful because we only won 1 league title in the 9 years that Klopp was here. So that means that Liverpool had 8 unsuccessful seasons under Jurgen Klopp. Or are you somehow going to move the goalposts to how? How is winning the Champions League? It doesn't make any. Somebody's got to make it make sense. Somebody's got to make it make sense. Winning the Champions League will be a failure of a season just because we didn't win the league. So why did you all celebrate in 18? Sorry, 18-19. When we beat Tottenham and we lifted old big ears and we watched Jordan Henderson do the first shuffle of many. I was close to tears when Divock Origi hits that half volley into the bottom corner and cements the 2-0 victory against Tottenham, and we become European champions for the 6th time. 3rd in the history of the Champions League, only bettered by Real Madrid and AC Milan. I remember that joy. And that's failure if we do that this season, just because we didn't win the league. What the fuck am I hearing? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, man. I know the league is the bread and butter. Of course, I get that. How is it failing with the Champions League? People, I'm sure I'm gonna remember something I've forgotten. I didn't even want to talk for this long. It's been so long. But I'm back. I appreciate you all. Love you all. And yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be having plenty of conversations over the next couple of weeks with people who don't like what I've said, people who agree with me. It is what it is. It's what we do. We agree to disagree on some things. We argue. We go back and forward. But for me personally, I think the people who have really been going in on slot, I just think they've been missing out a lot of things that I explained during this. And again, if you're slot out, do you? If you're slot out, do you? I just find it remarkable the amount of hate and disrespect he's been, because here's the thing as well, like having an opinion and stuff is one thing and thinking maybe like he's not gonna, but I've been seeing disrespect, actual disrespect, like rude things and like, you know, and I think a form of disrespect is not being appreciative of what somebody's done for you as well. Sometimes I think that can be the greatest level of disrespect. You don't even have to like say anything or go above and beyond in any other way. Sometimes a level of disrespect can literally just be being unappreciative of what somebody's done for you. That's a very, very big form of disrespect in the world, for me anyway. And there's a lot of people that seem ungrateful for what Slot did for us. I don't know. I just find it strange. So big up to everyone. I'm back. It's good to be back. Still in some pain, but I'm back. It's been too long. I needed to be back. So bear with me. It'll be a slow burner, but I'll be back. You know, within no time, I'll be back. Full-time, regular basis. Be doing it. Smash that like button, people. Love as always. Let me know in the comments if you disagree, agree. I know I'm going to get so much heat for my opinion on this, but you already know. I have to keep it real. I have to keep it true. And it is what it is. People, it's been a pleasure. I'll catch you on the flip. To all the people who are still slotting, as my boy Pimp would say, we're still glass half full rather than glass half empty. And who knows? Football's a funny old game. We could be sitting here in a few weeks' time or a few months' time, and things could be very different. Very different. Who knows? We'll see. Could be even different from me. By then, I could be like, nah, Slot's got to go, you know. Who knows? That's how football is, right? That's how football is. We will see. We will see. People, it's been a pleasure. I'm back, baby. And I'm out. Peace.